Yo, hey, this shit easy, nigga. Hey, all I'm talking about, nigga, I'm still out here trying to get it.
Contender Regime Boxing, checking back in with y'all, man. What's good? So I was checking out a couple of interviews. One more recent than the other. Devin Haney did an interview with Max Kellerman. I think it was a few days ago, right after defeating George Kambosos. And then Leonard Ellerbe went on Sean Porter's show, the Porterway Podcast, and he did an interview. Now I think that was like the following day after Devin Haney had defeated Kambosos for Undisputed. And Devin Haney now being the undisputed champion at lightweight, one of the most popular, one of the most historic divisions of all time in the sport of boxing. One of the original divisions, 135, the lightweight division, is very historic, very prestigious, and to be able to become undisputed at the age of 23, it's a beautiful thing. It's something to really admire. It's something to really respect. And I think Devin Haney, along with the other undisputed champions in recent years, I think they really set an example. But especially Devin Haney, being as young as he is, really just setting an example for these younger fighters, letting them know that, hey man, you can chase greatness. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't have to come out the gate trying to be Money Mayweather off top without even putting no work in. Like, it's cool to work hard. It's cool to chase greatness. It's cool to put that work in early and, go after what you want. If you really love what you do, if you really in love with the sport, if you really love working on your craft, if you really love being the best, you know what I'm saying? So I think Devin Haney really set an example for younger fighters and even the current fighters, guys that's older than him. But I wanted to talk about a potential match with, between Devin Haney and Tank Davis. I think that's one of the biggest fights in boxing, along with Shakur Stevenson versus either of these guys. And I'm going to do a video on Shakur Stevenson and his interview that he did with $1 million worth of game. Shout out to Gilly and Wallow. You know what I'm saying? Gilly, he really knows partisan, man. He asked some great questions. I got some stuff I want to talk about in regard to that interview. But, right now, just, particularly talking about Tank Davis and Devin Haney, I think that's a huge fight. And I think it's a fight that should be able to be made. But, the harsh reality is Leonard Ellerbe, Mayweather Promotions, they simply have no interest in that fight. Tank Davis did express right before Devin Haney fought Kambosos, he said, hey, if you win, I want to fight you next. Tank Davis said that out his mouth. And truly, following both of these guys, being a huge fan of both fighters, and I actually favor Tank Davis in that fight. But me, really paying attention to how these guys move, I know Tank Davis deep down within himself, he's willing to fight any of these guys. That's just what I believe. I could be wrong, but I believe Tank Davis is willing to fight any of these guys. And he did say that out his mouth right before Devin Haney fought Kambosos. He said, if you win, I want you next. But Leonard Ellerbe, his handlers, his promoters, they just simply aren't interested in a Devin Haney fight. They're not interested in a Shakur Stevenson fight. Leonard Ellerbe always brings up this, pay-per-view, and he always brings up all of these other variables that when you really look at it, it don't make sense. The only thing that I could think of business-wise as to why they wouldn't want to make this fight, outside of them thinking that Devin Haney could possibly beat Tank, is the fact that they don't want to pay another elite fighter elite money. You know what I'm saying? Because this is the thing that I don't understand. They say Tank Davis is the money man. They say Tank Davis is the guy like everybody got to come see Tank. He's the pay-per-view star. He's the attraction. He the money man. But none of Tank Davis's opponents make any money. None of Tank Davis' opponents make nothing close to what Devin Haney makes on a regular basis. He just made $2.8 million. He make, if we being real, just going by the guaranteed purse, Devin Haney been making more money than Tank. If we just talking about money, and I don't even like to dabble into the business side, but in this particular situation, we have to talk about that because that's what's keeping this fight from happening. So I'm just trying to understand, get a better understanding, and hopefully us as fans and content creators, we can kind of come to an understanding as well, so we can know how to approach this conversation when this fight is brought up. But they say Tank is the money man, but none of his opponents make any money. Cruz didn't make no damn money. Rolly ain't make no damn money. You know what I'm saying? Goddamn, Gamboa and them, they didn't make no money. So how is, I don't understand, like, but it goes back to what I said. The only reason outside of them believing that Devin Haney has some chance of beating Tank and derailing their plan of building a superstar, outside of that, which is that's a possibility, even though I favor Tank in that fight, the only thing I can think of is that they just trying to keep all the money to themselves. They don't even pay Tank as well as he should be getting paid, in my opinion. I know he get back end money off the pay-per-views, and I don't know what the dude pocket's looking like. I know he eat. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, it's like, it just don't add up. You know what I'm saying? That the whole money situation, like he the money man, so guys got to come see him to get big paydays. It just don't make sense because his opponents don't make money like that. Devin Haney's opponents make more than Tank's opponents. If you just look on average, Devin Haney's opponents get paid more than Tank's opponents. So how is he the money man? I don't understand that. So Devin Haney has been wanting to fight Tank for the longest. And at this point, y'all got to believe Devin Haney. I don't want to hear none of that, oh, he's just talking. He's, he got pillow fists. He really don't want to see Tank. He need to stay away from Tank because he don't got power. Even though I can't believe people still got this mindset. They thinking that just because you get knockouts, you going to automatically beat everybody. You ain't learned, after all the boxing you done watched, you ain't learned yet that power ain't everything. You ain't learned that it takes more than power to beat certain type of fighters. You haven't realized yet that you need more than just power. Even though Tank has power and a whole lot of other shit too. I think Tank is a superior fighter. Elite at the highest level. But I'm just saying, don't you know that that's not the end all be all, right? I can't believe people still got those sentiments that just because this dude got power, he's just it's an automatic win. So I don't want to hear none of that. Devin Haney should stay away from Tank shit because you got to believe that he really want these fights. Look at what he did to get Undisputed. This man went to hell and back. He was willing to do anything to become Undisputed. He chased down guys for years to get to the position that he in right now. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta believe him when he says that he want to fight Tank Davis, and I believe him wholeheartedly. I have no reason not to believe him. The only question is will Tank's team try to make a fight? Will they accept the fight with Devin Haney? I think that's a fight that the fans we need to see. I would love to see it before Devin Haney moved up to 140. I would love to see it at 135 for all the belts, but the way things looking, it just ain't gonna happen at 135. We probably won't get that fight till he get to 140. You know what I'm saying? Realistically, I would like to see Devin Haney and Shakur fight at 35. And in the interview, Shakur said he'll be at 35 within his next two fights. But I don't think Devin gonna be there in two fights. I think he is getting tough for him to make that weight. You know what I'm saying? He been at 35 since he was goddamn, 16 years old. Since he turned pro at 16, he been fighting at 35 since he was 16, bro. The man 23 years old now. It's time to move up at some point. So, I think he can make the weight for a couple more fights, defend those titles, fight Lomachenko. I think that's the more realistic fight next since they both at Top Rank right now. I think Devin got 1 or 2 more fights. I don't think the Kambosos rematch is gonna happen. I just don't see no money in that fight, because especially fighting in Australia, them folks, you ain't gonna be able to trick them folks 2 times. They not finna pay all that money to come see their guy, their fellow Australian citizen get beat down again and get outclassed and get embarrassed. I don't think them folks gonna go out there and spend that money like that. They're gonna take a big loss if they do that rematch, in my opinion. So the Lomachenko fight is the most realistic fight to make for Devin Haney next. But I think after that, if he get past Lomachenko, which I believe he will, we need to start talking about a Tank Davis and a Devin Haney fight for Undisputed for Devin Haney's last fight at 135. You know what I'm saying? So y'all let me know what y'all think down in the comments, man. You know, do you think that is really a possibility that fight can happen? I know we spoke on this before, but you know, I think this deserves more of a deep dive or a deeper look into like what's really going on and why this fight not happening. And I think it needs to be some pressure applied, man, because Tank Davis is getting older. You know, he in his prime right now, 27, 28 years old. He getting older, man. I mean, how long is it gonna take for y'all to build him up? You know what I'm saying? I don't have no problem with how Tank moving. Canelo did it for years. You know what I'm saying? But I believe Tank Davis is greater than Canelo. I believe Tank Davis has a higher upside. So I want to see him test himself. You know what I'm saying? And show me something. You feel what I'm saying? So how long it's going to take to build him up till you want to put him in there with a Shakur or a Devin Haney, till you even warm up to the idea of taking those type of fights. Y'all let me know what y'all think, man. Contender regime. Boxing, I'll holler at y'all boys, man.